We want to start the 6 a.m. hour with some breaking news out of Denver. We know that one person is dead after being shot by police early this morning.
9 News reporter Jennifer Meckles joins us live from the scene. Jenny, you were there when police gave an update just about an hour ago.
Yeah, guys, good morning. We're in southeast Denver, right where Parker Road and and 25 connect. This is like an apartment, condo, residential area where this all started this morning. Just around 2 a.m., Denver police tell us they got a call for a burglary in progress. And I will show you the area in which we're talking about here over my shoulder. Down between the buildings, you'll see kind of like a grayish, I don't know how clear it is in this time of day, but like a grayish storage shed. Police tell us that the homeowner saw on the Ring camera that somebody was breaking into this storage shed, called police. Officers got here just in a few minutes. They tell us that they found an adult male inside of that shed storage unit, ordered him out, said he came out holding some kind of a large object that they believe was a knife or some sort of knife-like weapon. Police ordered him to drop it and tell us that he did at first, but then picked it back up and started advancing toward officers. There were 2 officers out here this morning, and police tell us that they both fired at the suspect, hitting him. The suspect was taken to Swedish hospital and did not survive. He died at the hospital. We are told that those 2 officers were not hurt. There was never contact with them and that knife-like object. I asked Chief Ron Thomas, Chief of Denver Police Department, is that actually a knife-like object? He said it looked to be some sort of like a long thing with a handle, shiny, some sort of a knife-like object. Police did not get hurt. Those 2 officers that were out here, we're told, are fairly new to the force, don't have a lot of information, just that they had not been working with DPD all that long as this happened. And now what starts is the typical protocol in a situation like this where they have an outside investigation into that particular shoot. That's done by State Patrol and CBI. It'll eventually get handed off to the Denver District Attorney's Office, as well as the same time they're investigating now the death of this person here as a homicide. So again, guys, southeast Denver, what started as a burglary in progress ultimately led to 2 officers shooting and killing a suspect here in southeast Denver this morning. Guys, back to you.
All right, Jenny, thank you so much for that live report. We'll check back in with you in just a little bit.
Yeah, it is now 6:01 on your Friday morning. Let's get you a live look outside at a beautiful sunrise over downtown Denver. As we look at the skies, though, we're still looking for that snow out there now that it is November 14th. We still have not seen a trace of it in the metro area. So let's get over to Katie LaSalle for a check of that forecast. Katie, maybe next week.
Have you seen it? Have you seen it? We're still waiting, yes. It's looking like maybe mid next week that we have the potential of picking up some snowfall, one of the latest on season here for the Denver area. But as the sun comes up, it is dry, relatively mild, and we are in for a warm day. Highs will top out in the low 70s. Overnight lows around 41 degrees. No big impacts in the weather department for this weekend as well. Looking ahead, Saturday into Sunday, some clouds around, slightly cooler. We are bracing for some mountain moisture on Sunday. I'll show you that coming up. But out the door for you right now, we have dropped down in the mountains, mainly to the 20s from Steamboat Springs, Eagle, Snowmass, and Aspen. Upper teens right now in Kremling. So if you're out and about here over the Denver area this morning, definitely want an extra layer, jacket, sweatshirt weather for the start of the day, but you'll be able to lose it this afternoon with a high of 74 degrees expected. We're looking at low to even upper 70s from downtown Denver, Lakewood, Boulder, Longmont getting to 77 degrees this afternoon. All across the Front Range and Eastern Plains and in the mountains, it will stay dry. 80s expected out east near Burlington, mainly in the 50s to low 60s up over our northern and central mountains. But we are bracing Sunday into Monday of picking up, as mentioned, some mountain moisture. It'll mainly be a rain-snow mix before some colder air gradually makes its way into the state, but not just yet. We have an area of low pressure off to our west. That'll bring in mainly moisture into the mountains and taking us through, as you can see, some cooler air arriving as we get into next week. Seasonal finally on Tuesday. We'll look ahead at this potential impact day on Wednesday. Could we see our first flakes here in Denver? We'll talk more in your extended forecast coming up in just a few. But first, Brianna, how are the roads looking out there?
Katie, we are still tracking this crash along 225 and Parker Road, but I want to start with Sky 9 right now. If you're heading out the door, maybe taking Highway 36 and Sheridan, heading to Boulder or from Boulder to Denver, this is what you can expect, a really nice drive. But I do want to show you that trouble spot that we're tracking right now from our CDOT camera. So if you're taking 225 right now, heading into I-20, I-25, this is what you can expect. It's a mess out there, and that's because we have some flashing lights and we have a crash that we've been tracking since 5 a.m. this morning. It's unclear how many vehicles are involved. Hopefully, Sky 9 can show us a live look from that area. A very different story than what we're seeing along I-25 and Park Avenue. Traffic in both directions, north and south, is still pretty nice. So let's get to your drive times real quick along South Parker Road and 225. We are slowing down, but you can see the overall drive time is not bad. Only an 11-minute drive. So if you're taking 225 from I-70 heading into I-25 right now, those peak times are clocking in at 60 miles per hour.
All right, thank you, Brianna. Well, today the Kendrick Castillo Memorial is set to be unveiled. It's going to honor the Colorado hero who was killed rushing a school shooter at STEM School Highlands Ranch in 2019. Every one of his classmates survived. Community members helped fund the $30,000 memorial, and scholarship fund within a matter of days. Community members, through our micro giving campaign last year, helped fund the $30,000 memorial and scholarship. The memorial is going to be a pillar and a plaque telling his story in the Civic Green Park in Highlands Ranch. The memorial is going to be unveiled at 10 o'clock this morning.
Now that the longest government shutdown in U.S. history is over, SNAP food benefits are going out to roughly 600,000 Coloradans. Some received their November payments yesterday. Others are still waiting on benefits that have now been delayed for nearly 2 weeks. Warren Village, a Denver nonprofit that supports low-income, single-parent families, says about 90% of the families it serves rely on SNAP. CEO Ethan Hemming says staff heard from several families whose EBT cards were refilled in the last 24 hours, and others were notified that their benefits should return within days. The state says it's working to deliver all November payments as quickly as possible.
I mean, I think the ones obviously that got the funding onto their cards, they're happy and they're grateful and relieved and appreciative. And those who are waiting, I think, are cautiously optimistic. And I think they're in that mode of like some relief. And then how do we trust moving forward?
Hemming says the shutdown has been a major test for families already facing an affordability crisis. And he says what they need is consistent, reliable funding from the government.
While the government is back open, the FAA is still requiring airlines to cut flights at 40 busy airports, including DIA. The agency announced this week that mandated cuts will not go above the current level of 6%. They originally said that cuts would increase to 10% by today, arguing that they are necessary to keep air traffic safe because of a spike in understaffing among air traffic controllers. They now say that staffing has improved over the past several days, but have not announced an end to flight reductions. The union that represents air traffic controllers says the shutdown has put a spotlight on years-long staffing shortages that have had controllers working 6 days a week. They hope this is going to spur change, but they are glad that the government is back open.
It has been just an unnecessary distraction. We have to show up and be 100%. People's lives are at stake.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has said that controllers and other FAA employees should receive 70% of their back pay within 24 to 48 hours of the end of the shutdown. He has said that the rest should come over the next couple paychecks. DIA posted a thank you to everybody who donated during the government shutdown. The airport posted on social media yesterday saying when they shared federal workers needed support, you all answered the call, delivering gift cards, cash, and carloads of pantry donations. DIA says that they are no longer accepting donations, but they are very grateful for how much was donated.
The legislation that reopened the government also approved a new restriction on hemp products. While the restrictions don't go into effect immediately, critics are already warning that it threatens the entire industry. Businesses have 1 year before this takes effect. The old rule allowed hemp products to contain 0.3% of THC by weight. Well, the new rule is that products can only contain 0.4 milligrams of THC per container. Hemp products come from marijuana plants but don't contain much THC, the compound that actually gets you high. Shannon Donnelly, the professor of cannabis at MSU Denver, says the ultimate impact could be detrimental.
Which is really going to eliminate maybe 95% of the hemp products that are on the market today. Those businesses may have to shutter down and close their doors and let go of all their employees in a hard employment market already.
In a statement, Democratic Governor Jared Polis says he's disappointed the restriction was passed.
Colorado won its court battle to keep people from getting hit by high interest rates on low dollar loans, even from banks in other states. Colorado law caps interest rates for payday loans and other consumer debt loans at 36%. Some national bank chains got around that because of a federal rule allowing banks to follow the interest laws of their home state. Colorado opted out of that law in 2023 over concerns that payday lenders were working with out-of-state banks to keep charging high interest rates. Trade groups sued over Colorado's restrictions, and a federal court blocked the law last year. But this week, an appeals court reversed that ruling and sent the case back to Colorado's courts for more arguments.
New this morning, Colorado is laying the groundwork for some new things. It's the return of wild bison. At a meeting in Sterling, the Parks and Wildlife Commission approved new rules giving bison a dual classification, both livestock and wildlife, as required by the new Protect Wild Bison Act. Privately owned, fenced bison will still be managed as livestock, while any free-ranging bison that wander into the state will now be treated as wildlife and protected as big game. That starts in January.
Well, some dry conditions out there for all our bison and us here across the metro area. Winds will be calm. Temperatures this morning in the low 50s, partly cloudy skies, and temperatures today in the 70s. It'll feel warm for this time of the year. It's not typically in the 70s in November. We're usually in Denver in the 50s for highs in the mountains this afternoon, and low 80s over the eastern plains. So some quiet conditions. The ridge continues to hang out with Colorado. We are bracing for some slightly cooler air and wetter weather. It will not really arrive until next week here for the metro area, but we are bracing for some mountain moisture. We'll look ahead at the timing of this, the totals that we're expecting to accumulate. Any snow would be helpful for the mountains. Details coming up in your full forecast.
Katie, thank you so much. 6:10 is your time, and if your drive takes you up and down I-25 heading north or southbound, I have good news. We're not talking any overnight construction or crashes this morning. You can see in both directions from downtown to DTC. It's going to be a 14-minute drive.